We welcome you to another live edition of The Sports Box, your go-to sports podcast featuring great content, conversation, and your occasional disagreement. Stick around to interact and ask questions. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
On smoke, it's all about the cash flow. So come on and get this money, man. Getting paper, and we always do it major on the slow. You know it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Game Winning Drive. It's my boy Drew, and this is my guy Fog, and man, we're about to dive into a jam-packed episode tonight. We got a lot to get into, a lot to talk about. Talking about the absolute craziness of bananas this has been so far these past 3 weeks in the NFL. Pretenders become believers and believers become pretenders. Predictions are already gone away. My Survivor League, all the leagues are almost done. It's absolutely insane how these 3 weeks have gone so far in the 2024 NFL season. So let's dive into it. Let's get into it. I think we got a couple guys that's going to join us a little bit later on the show. But first and foremost, give us a like and a follow on the show, and please keep on spreading that good name for us, and please give us your questions and your comments the entire segment. We would love to answer them as we go. First off and foremost, man, Fog, you're an Eagles fan. I'm a Chargers fan, and we've been doing this. This is our second year together. I've been doing this for a while. You've been doing this for a while on the two-man front and other platforms that you do.
Yes, sir.
We had a pretty fun debate this past draft, and we did a rankings in one of our episodes of the quarterbacks, and you were the only one in probably the entire algorithm of having Jaden Daniels first in when we ranked these quarterbacks and how successful we think they're going to be in their transition to the NFL. Besides the state of Louisiana, I think you are the only one that I know that picked Jaden Daniels, and it looks like you might have found the golden pie at the end of the rainbow, because last night he looked amazing, bro. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Listen, he's looked amazing all season. His completion percentage is off the charts. Now, I will say this. I think it was, I want to say it was Jamar. No, it wasn't Jamar Chase. So forget the defensive player that was saying there for Cincinnati pre-game that was saying
I forgot his name.
He's just doing dink and dunk plays.
Big or something like that.
And all of a sudden, his passing yard, his yards per attempt. Let's not go into the advanced statistics and the air yards. Just passing yards per attempt went from 7 to 11 in that game. So he's growing within the offense. We got time. There's a lot of time. I said, look, I was also one that said Josh Allen was going to bust. And Josh Allen hasn't busted. So it happens. There's time, but I think what I saw, and I'll reiterate this again, what I saw from Jaden Daniels at LSU as opposed to what I saw from Caleb Williams at USC was two different quarterbacks. And the one thing, and I credit Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills fans. I do apologize for offending any of you asshats that jump through tables. But the bottom line is Jaden Daniels is a football player, and he can play the quarterback position. Caleb Williams is a quarterback, but he's not a football player, in my opinion. He doesn't have the same drive. He doesn't lead the team in the same fashion. And while Caleb, I love his arrogance and his confidence, it doesn't come across on the football field. And you've got better personnel, at least from and we all said this prior to the season beginning. He's got better personnel there at the skilled positions than Jaden Daniels does. And Jaden Daniels is outperforming him on every facet right now.
I think right now, yeah, I agree with you. I also think that Jaden Daniels, I believe he's played the Giants, the Bengals, and I don't know who did he play week 1?
Who did they play? It was it Tampa Bay they played week 1?
Tampa Bay. It was Tampa Bay. Caleb Williams has gone against the Texans, the Colts, this recent, and the first week was – what was the first week? I don't remember.
Was it Pittsburgh the first week? Was it Chicago and Pittsburgh?
No, Atlanta played Pittsburgh the first
yes.
week. I don't remember. Anyways, I think Caleb's had a tough road. He's Tennessee. They played Tennessee.
Yes.
Caleb has gone against really tough, stout defenses, but I want to reiterate the fact that I'm going to give credit where credit is due with Cliff Kingsbury. Great play calling,
yes.
Great protection to build the confidence up of Jaden Daniels. I don't care if it's a college offense like that corner from Cincinnati said, you guys got worked from a college offense. So the utilization of Scary Terry, that beautiful bomb that he threw on third and 1, I believe, in the fourth, that 9 route on the right hash, probably one of the most prettiest dimes I have ever seen in a long time, especially from a rookie. The maturation in this offense, he's growing, he's building, he's recognizing cover zero, and I appreciate him for doing that. I had Jaden Daniels as my number 2 quarterback in this draft class. Caleb was 1 for me. It's only been 3 games. The jury's still out. That offensive line for the Chicago Bears, especially on the left side, is in the right tackle, is one of the worst resumes I've ever seen in my life.
Listen, they regressed, Drew. They weren't this bad last season, especially in that 6 or 7 game run. They weren't that bad. They regressed massively, and that's the thing that's blowing my mind because, again, I didn't see this. I didn't see it being this bad. I was with you guys. I thought they were going to be okay.
Yeah.
I thought I said Caleb, it's going to be on Caleb. But again, it's going to be, I wish my co-host from the 2-Man Front podcast, Brian, were here, because I said it's Matt Eberflus. That's the problem. Coaching is the problem. And if he doesn't coach up well, Caleb is going to struggle. They don't have a running game. There's nothing that you could say is there's no remnants of a running game. It's not even there. And you went out and got DeAndre Swift, and you're not even using him.
Well, Fogg, we talked about it in the offseason after the draft was done. I like the Rome Odunze pick.
Yes.
I don't love it. And I wanted them to trade back, get the capital for you to invest in the offensive line. You passed up on Amarius Mims. You passed up on I can't think of anybody's names, but there's so many right tackles that you could have easily gotten in draft. And instead you wanted to go for the sexy pick who hasn't done anything in this offense and really can't do much when your quarterback is running for his life. That's why it's a bunch of issues. I can't stand how Shane Waldron has called plays. It's not even Matt Eberflus. It's just the offense in its totality. It looks just pale, very dumbfounded. And I mean, they made a big deal about it, Fogg, about Caleb going and using a wristband. Okay, I would have done that week 1. Why are we making him say the whole entire play? It makes It just makes no sense how the Bears are doing it. It's the Bears being the Bears. And now you see your boy Justin Fields is absolutely shining in Pittsburgh.
I wouldn't say he's shining, but
I mean,
let's pump the brakes there.
Well, I mean, he's missing 2 offensive linemen in the game against the Chargers. He's throwing to a guy that no one knows about in Austin, who, I mean, the guy has 2 touchdowns. He's playing great ball, and he looks way more happier than he ever did in Chicago. There's guys that believe in him. Confidence matters, man. It really does.
System matters too, but I will say this with Justin Fields.
Well, Arthur Smith's not really hard to gasp on that system.
Arthur Smith's system is still he's only, and I argue this, he's only a slight improvement over Matt Canada. But right now, what we're seeing, and we're going, we can segue into this. What we're seeing is keep it simple, stupid. Because the NFL right now is being overrun and overanalyzed by analytics, and I'm a numbers guy. But keep it simple right now is winning football games and winning football games good. Just look at Buffalo and Minnesota.
2 prime examples that I was going to bring up when we get to that segment. But other guys to talk about in this class. Obviously, we don't know much about Drake May. We only saw a glimpse of him in New England.
They're doing right by Drake May. They're doing right by Drake. I'm not a Drake May fan, but they are doing right by Drake May.
I agree with you, and they should, because that offensive line is putrid.
You know what's funny?
Is getting worked.
You know what's funny? I said it. I said Bo Nix is probably the most NFL-ready quarterback coming out of this draft, but I had him ranked, I think, 4th or 5th out of the quarterbacks, because his ceiling is probably already tapped out. You're not going to get he may play slightly better, incrementally better than what he is doing this year, but what you've got is a serviceable quarterback for the remainder of his career. You got a guy who is slightly better than Ryan Fitzpatrick, who could start for the better portion of his career, not play a backup and then come in. But that's all you're getting out of Bo Nix.
I 1,000% agree with you. There's really not much more to get into that with Bo Nix. Tampa Bay, I feel like Tampa Bay just walked into a game where they took them lightly and not really, you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those games where it's like, out of 5 times, I'm taking Tampa Bay. Yeah, I just think it's just one of those situations where they just weren't prepared. That's where we've seen a lot so far in this season. I feel like it's just a lot of teams over adjusting and over analyzing. That's a word, by the way, over analyzing. I don't care what people say. It's just crazy. It's just let's just talk about it. How crazy and asinine have these 3 weeks been for you? You're a little bit older than me. I mean, these 3 weeks have just been weird, just weird. We're talking about an Atlanta Falcons team that came back and beat the Philadelphia Eagles last week because of what people are saying, a bonehead decision by Sirianni, and then turn it around, Fog, and they do the same thing. They don't kick 2 field goals on Sunday night where they would have easily beat the Kansas City Chiefs and they would have won. They easily could have a case of being 3-0.
Yep.
We're not going to bring up the Pittsburgh game because Kirk Cousins looked rusty, but ever since that game, Kirk looks great. Yes. So, I mean, what is I know Brian wants to talk about it, but it's like, is it analytics? Is what is the issue?
It's a combination of a couple of things. I will say this. Number one, it's the preseason. These first 3 weeks is probably the most football these guys have played since last season.
Yeah, but Fogg, we haven't seen this craziness, like bad decisions, and I know injuries definitely play a part. There's a lot of injuries this year.
Number two, you're playing a preseason, and we normally go vanilla schemes preseason.
Yes.
Everything is simple. That's why I said at the beginning, keep it simple, stupid. KISS. You kiss my ass after this. It's keep it simple. They're not keeping it simple. These guys are just getting into the rhythm and finding a rhythm. Now, we could talk Minnesota. Minnesota played a lot of their guys in the preseason. They got a rhythm going when they came into the regular season.
Yeah. They were in a situation where they could.
There is not a rhythm here yet because they were in a situation where they needed to find out if Sam Darnold was actually going to be the starting quarterback. So they needed to get into a rhythm. A lot of these teams right now are not in a rhythm. That's number two. Number three, overthinking. And I'll go to the Eagles game as an example. I had to go to what the hell was it? A birthday party for my niece. Wow. If my brother was actually watching, he'd be freaking out. I had to go to a birthday party for my niece. Me and my younger brother, Little Fogg, Dave, we're watching the games. And I'm watching Philadelphia. They did, on a fourth down play, they did a stretch toss and lined up in the tush-push position. It was basically a naked toss on 4th and 1 with Barkley, whose lateral movement, look, injuries have hurt him. His lateral movement is not the same. It's beautiful that he's still got the speed burst in that second gear when he hits it, but his lateral movement is just not the same. And you see it. I've seen it through the first 3 weeks. Because they've been running the ball a lot on first downs. And I was like, why don't they just need to their offensive line isn't that good as far as being able to spot things the way Kelsey was able to spot them. So and your guard play isn't that great when it comes to stretch runs and off tackle runs. So rather than do that, I hate the idea of it, but go between the tackles with Barkley. Let your big guys.
It's working.
Yes, let your offensive line bull forward, and it'll work. And it's funny, after that fourth down play, I looked at my brother. I'm like, they just got to go between the tackles and let these guys keep it simple. Just run downhill. All of a sudden, Saquon breaks off 2 big runs, touchdowns. They're dry. It's the offense completely changed. Keep it simple. Right now, the NFL and these offensive coordinators and these head coaches are overthinking and overanalyzing the game. And I'm an analytics guy. I'm a numbers guy. But at the same token, you can't overthink certain situations. We're seeing 4th and 1s and 2-point conversions being overthought with plays where you're going, why would you run that play at this current moment? It's almost like these teams don't have go-to plays to go to anymore. There's no go-to plays in the playbook.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, and that naked boot, that toss that you were talking about, did you not see what Atlanta did? They did the exact same thing, but instead they used the 2 running backs behind them, and they had Algier as a – why would you have Algier as your lead block? I that right there bothers me alone. But if you can't, why not put Penix in and have him run just an inch? I don't understand. I don't get it. Like you said, why are we over analyzing? Just RG3 said it best. It seems like RG3 is a lot better now that he's not under the branches of ESPN. He's been actually talking a lot of great football on his Twitter. And he's like, bro, you just said, Fogg, keep it simple. If your offensive line cannot push and win in the trenches and get that yard, what are we doing? It's crazy to me, man. It's just absolutely crazy to me. And it's a lot of things, a lot of just issues I have with the NFL. It's not good product. that we are seeing. It's really bad football. And this past week, I felt like it really took the cake for me in a lot of games. I watched Red Zone pretty much all day, and I just see bad decisions and bad play calling and bad timeouts. And I'm just like, dude, like, it wasn't like this 5 years ago. Like it was, I feel like it's a downhill trend because we're so captivated by PFF and analytics and like grades and all that stuff. Like, dude, like, Austin, thanks for joining, bro. And how do you feel about how the game is played? You were at the game.
Yeah.
You were at the New Orleans game. You went on a vacation, all that stuff. Had it been a great moment for you to win that game in New Orleans. Did you feel like that game was just not being coached right from New Orleans?
I feel it wasn't being coached right from the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of points off the board. As you know, you're on FaceTime and you saw there was a bunch of Eagle fans there. I didn't like the fourth down decisions, especially the one that really irritated me. I don't know where you guys were talking about. This is where I'm picking up at. The one that irritated me was 4th and 1, 14 seconds left. I think it was the second quarter, I believe. And instead of going for it, or instead of kicking the field goal, he went for it and did like a little tush-push reverse. It's like, dude, why do that? Because if you get the first down, it's going to go to be like, 9 seconds before you call a timeout? And then what are you going to do after that? Throw one more play? It's like, just kick the field goal and call it a day, dude. That pissed me off. I think it was more, Vic Fangio. I think we need to give him a lot of credit. He fixed the defense up a lot from going to the Falcons game to this game because Saints was the number one offense, and he shut him down. He had a plan. And you got to give him credit, man. Got to give him credit.
The Saints aren't as good as advertised. I was saying that before. No,
I don't know, man.
They're not as good as advertised.
I don't know. I think they're pretty good, man. I think they're going to be a really good team. Their defense is good too.
Yeah. I know Brian's going to be on a little bit, so we'll come back and talk because he wants to talk about that. So we'll get to the next one here. What team needs an immediate change to fix their woes? If there's one team in your head that you think needs to change right away, what needs to fix it? I'll give you guys some time because I've been brewing this all day and I've been wanting to talk about this. Someone needs to kill Jerry Jones and his family because I'm telling you, the Cowboys are absolutely trash. So I want to talk about the fact that we give so much pressure to Dak. We give so much pressure to this and that, and you're paying all these guys. Dude, you had a whole entire offseason to improve. You didn't. You said, oh, no, we're good. The roster's fine the way it is. We're going to be the talking point the whole offseason. We're going to talk about Dak. We're going to talk about CeeDee Lamb. We're going to talk about Micah and this and that. And then we'll be fine. You have no defensive tackle presence. That Mozzie pick is a bust. You guys didn't do your due diligence on recruiting and drafting and doing all that stuff that you need to do. You have no second guy to CeeDee Lamb. What are you doing? Brandon Cooks, wide receiver 3 at best at this point in his career, I would say. You have Ferg. Ferg has some injuries and this and that. This offensive line cannot run block for the life of them. One of the worst one-blocking offensive lines so far, 3 weeks into the season. No running backs.
I will say, I think it's more running back.
It's just a bunch of issues. So the thing that I would do, and we have a guy, a Fog, in our group chat, Austin and I. There's two brothers who are diehard Cowboy fans, and he's been on the record where Dak shouldn't get paid. They should have started over, and they should just let this season be the last season for Dak and this and that. But his thing now that Dak has been paid, is they're going to lose on Thursday against the Giants. And after the Giants, their schedule is he's saying they're going to be 1-6 practically.
No shot.
Mike McCarthy is going to be fired after the 1-6 start. If Mike McCarthy gets fired, let's say, because Dallas has never done that apparently in the history of their organization, they never fired someone in the middle of the season. If they do fire him, and let's say they go get Belichick, I don't think it would ever happen, but let's say they do. Do you think that would really improve this team by changing the head coach?
Maybe a little bit.
This roster needs to be completely revamped, right? Like it needs to have a retooling.
I don't think the roster needs to be revamped. I think the defense.
I agree.
I think the defense, that front seven, needs to be revamped a little bit. And again, as much as I like Micah Parsons, he's not Lawrence Taylor.
No.
And
he's not a run stopper.
No, he's not a run stopper. He's not a pass stopper. He's just a pass rusher. That is it.
Right.
He's a glorified, talented pass rusher. And people
how do you
made
pay
him out
somebody
to be
like
this
that?
great guy, this so-called game-changing player that's coming into the league. And no, he's not that. That is not him. He's just a very good pass rusher from the position that he's playing. You need to put people around him to cover up his deficiencies, and that's what the Cowboys have not done. And that front seven needs, if you're going to base your defense around what he does, which I don't have a problem with because he's that talented of a pass rusher, you need to put players in place that can cover up his deficiencies, and Dallas did not do that at all.
Austin, you have a team that needs an immediate change to fix their woes?
Oh, man, yeah, Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, dude, they're 0-3.
Put a fork in them. Wait.
I don't even know where to start.
Two forks for their asses.
Yeah. I think
we having Chinese food. I mean, cat for dinner.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
I think Zach Taylor gets fired. My prediction.
Really?
I think Zach Taylor gets fired. I think they go and hire Joe Brady. You know, I've been a big Joe Brady fan, Andrew knows, since day one. Why not? You had him in LSU with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson. He already has that relationship with all those guys. Get him being your head coach. He's a great offensive mind. Oh, look what he's doing with Josh Allen. You go fire that guy. You get Joe Burrow in there, and you get him happy. You get him his system going, and you just change the culture. I just think they need to change it, man. It's 0-3 with that talent is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Is it? Are they in such a really crappy situation with both their receivers being so disgruntled right now?
You got to pay one. You got to at least pay one. You got to pay Jamar.
I'm not paying T.
We all know you're going to pay Jamar.
But that defense is issues too.
That
defense is terrible. That defense is really bad, dude.
And then they let Jesse Bates go. They have no secondary. Yeah. That made no fucking sense. But
no sense.
He's balling.
Fog, who's your team?
I'm going to go with my team, the Eagles. I'm going to.
You guys don't have woes. You guys are above 500 instead of a team that has woes.
Yeah, this was also a team that started out 10-0 last season, and I kept saying every single fucking week after week 5, this is not going to last. This is not going to last. This is not going to last. And the wheels fell off of that. All 4 wheels, axles and all, fell off of that damn bus. Look at it. The Eagles, and I got the numbers here. They have a very good, very even run-pass ratio. 102 run to 100 pass. But they're rushing 60% of 60 times on first down. And after that, it's pass. It's a pass-happy offense. My biggest issue, and remember, theme of here is keep it simple. Play action pass. Play action pass. Run between the tackles. They're not running between the tackles. This is a team that is under center has run just 37 plays. 29 of them have been rushing attempts. 7 have been passing attempts. None of those 7 were play action passes. As a matter of fact, they only got 17 play action passes and 14 RPO plays. Guess what? RPO counts as a play action pass when you run a play action pass. So they legitimately have just 3 fucking play action passes that they have run with a running back like Saquon Barkley, who until Sunday, you didn't run in between the tackles enough because your offensive line is a simple offensive line. This isn't a Mike Shanahan scheme where you can run those stretch plays in the same fashion. You don't have the guards to do that, and yet you're attempting to do that. It's keep it simple. The Eagles need to fix their play calling. They need to run more play action to help Jalen Hurts because Hurts is struggling. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan, but he is struggling, and you're not giving him the opportunity to make plays off of getting creative on simple plays as play action. When you only run 17 play action passing plays, and 14 of them have been RPO plays, and the other 88 plays that you ran so far this season have been either out of the shotgun or just straight up passing plays. Come on, man.
I think a lot of it too is with AJ Brown going down. I think they got to change it up a little bit. I think a lot of the passing, like the play action and all that, it's not there because there's no threat outside right now. There's no. So you can't really. But it wasn't there when you got Covey running routes, bro. We got Covey running routes.
But it wasn't. It wasn't there when AJ Austin. It wasn't there when AJ Brown was in and available. And if
for 1 week,
they weren't running those plays.
He's only played one game.
The Packers game was a play action with the 67 or 68-yard touchdown to AJ Brown against the Packers, and he's only played that 1 week.
Get the forks.
One play, you can't listen. Nick Sirianni's gotta go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny you.
Sirianni's gotta go, and they gotta get someone in there that's going to be able to coach this team up because this team it clearly is. I agree with you, Austin.
You don't like Kellen Moore?
No, I'm not a fan of Kellen Moore at all.
Really?
It's funny. It's funny that you bring up the play action.
I don't understand. Why don't
Kellen Moore loves play action?
And he's not running.
What's your reasoning on Kellen Moore?
So here's my thing. Kellen Moore has done pretty good offensively, but
great.
I did not like him coming to Philly because I don't know what Philly's going to look like, and I need to find out the truth here because we don't know if Sirianni has Kellen Moore handcuffed and is trying to, basically play his machismo hand, if you will, and say, I'm the guy. Because I think not Kellen Moore, I think Sirianni's butthurt that once he openly admitted to turning the play calling to Shane Steichen, all of a sudden the Eagles got better. Then the next year they went to the Super Bowl. And then Steichen was gone, and Kellen Moore, Nick Sirianni took over everything, and Brian Johnson was a scapegoat. Like it was his fault. It wasn't his fault. So is Sirianni controlling what Kellen Moore is doing and handicapping Kellen Moore? That's my thing.
Rebuttal?
I think
is he frozen?
I think he's shocked at what I said.
Okay. I didn't know this was going to turn into an Eagle show.
Well, you started this.
Shut your mouth. After only, we're moving on. After only 3 weeks, what teams are you ready to put a fork in? You already like went into your segment of putting in the
fork,
the Bengals. For me to put a fork in after 3 weeks, it's obvious answer. It's Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are completely done. It is kind of funny, Fob, because it brings back the good old argument of Tyreek Hill and receivers making quarterbacks when it's really the other way around. It just shows how it's another level of how great Patrick Mahomes is, because he hasn't had him for what, 3 years, 2 years, and he's won 2 Super Bowls and an MVP. So Miami, I'll say, Brian was here, I say it to him. If Dane Johnson was here, I say it to him. It's going to be buyer's remorse since the day they handed Tua that contract. That should have never happened. It should have never. It should have never even been a thought. 2-year deal max, or franchise tag him like Kirk Cousins until he's ready to walk away. It's that simple for me. I would have never gave him that long-term deal, and now you have this in the back of your head where it's like, okay, he's going to come back in 5 weeks, week 9. And are we really going to put ourselves in that situation where one more hit, who becomes responsible?
Yeah,
because now I'm like afraid for this dude. I don't want this guy playing. It's like Alex Smith playing his last year and his leg. He basically had no leg. I was just like, bro, like, stop, no more. You're done. So,
well, it's funny because it was like I watched it. Nate Burleson said it, and I remember this guy, Javid Best, came out of Cal.
Yes,
he had said he read a text message that Javid Best approved of, and he said, it was the hardest thing for him to do was walk away from the game while he was where he was at. He was still in his prime, and it's not like a knee injury or a shoulder injury. You feel that, and you get surgery and you take a while to come back, but you still feel that. A concussion, you don't feel that. A week, 2 weeks later, you feel fine. You're perfect. You're ready to go. And to try to step away from the game, that's why you feel like that because you're young. You feel like that. It's going to be a tough decision. I hope Tua makes the right decision, but I'm with you. I would stick a fork in Miami. I'd stick a fork in any 0-3 team right now. Any 0-3 team, I'd probably stick a fork in. They're done. Cincinnati, in my opinion, is done. You said it. They have no goddamn defense. They can't cover anybody out there. Jacksonville. Jacksonville has the 30th worst offense, 28th worst ranked defense. Their point differential right now is 45, which is equal to 11 points per game. Well, guess what? Washington finished 4-13 last year.
Yeah.
Their point differential was 189 on the season, which was good enough for 11 points per game differential.
Terrible.
Jacksonville's headed in that wrong direction as well. But I'm going to stick a fork in the New York Giants just because I'm an Eagles fan and I'm in the NFC East and I want to put Diggs. I dogged Daniel Jones' pick. Giants fans said, no, you got to let him groom, let him grow. No. You put water. You put Miracle Grow. Jeez, you could inject him with steroids. Daniel Jones ain't doing nothing but being out of the league. He ain't even a backup quarterback. He's going to be the reason Brian Dable and Joe Schoen get fired at the end of this season. Goodbye. See you later. Stick a fork in the New York Giants. They are cooked. 29th ranked offense in the league. Defense looks pretty good. 18th ranked, but here's something. They average 8 points per game differential during losses. Well, guess what? They're on pace to do that this year as well. Nothing changed. The Giants suck. Stick a fork in them. I don't care if they're 1-2. They beat the Cleveland Browns, who would beat themselves with their practice squad if they had to play against them at this point. So, no. Sorry.
It's another team I stick a fork in is the Browns. Yeah, man. We'll get into it and we'll talk about it a little bit more as you go to our week 4 pick'em. So let's do that now. And I don't think Austin's getting back. I think he's having issues. The Dallas Cowboys, as mentioned earlier, they played Thursday night's game. They are 1-2. They are going and traveling to the New York Giants, who are also 1-2. Who we got for this win and moving forward, Fog, who we got?
Wow, Drew, just like Caleb Williams, you were wrong about Austin coming back.
I don't know why, but my internet went out and kicked me out.
Every dog has their day, Fog. Every dog has their day.
I'm going with the Cowboys. The Giants suck. If you watch that putrid game between the Giants and the Browns was supposed to look like that. The Giants and the Browns was what the Raiders and the Panthers were supposed to look like. That's how that game was supposed to look. The Cowboys are easily steamrolling the Giants.
Austin?
Oh, yeah, I got Cowboys. They own the Giants. When was the last time the Giants beat the Cowboys? Can't even remember. I think Odell was there. I got Cowboys, and I don't think it's going to be close either.
Yeah, I got Cowboys too. I know there's no presence at D tackle, but I think Dak is going to have a pretty solid game. CeeDee Lamb, nice little rebound game today or Thursday night. I think it's going to be close though. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I do not think it's going to be a blowout. So I got Cowboys winning the game though.
What's close?
Like
what
20,
what's close?
2017. Something like that.
Nah,
10 plus.
I'm going 31-14.
Yeah, I don't see anybody be able to block their Michael Parsons.
The Cincinnati Bengals are 0-3, a shocking 0-3. And they go and travel to Carolina, who the Red Rifle is going to have a revenge game against Cincinnati and Andy Dalton. Carolina just got done winning a big game against the Raiders last week, who head coach Antonio Pierce came out and said some interesting things after the game about people making their own business decisions and not really wanting to play the game. I think you all know who he was alluding to, which was the corner for the Raiders, who did not want to tackle whatsoever. I don't know if you guys saw the highlights or not. Davante Adams is another topic for another day. We'll probably get into that next week. He's probably a potential trade target as the Raiders are moving on. But regardless of the fact, who we got winning this game, Austin? You're up.
I got Bengals. I don't think they go 0-4. I got them going 1-3 and beating the Panthers here. I think Andy Dalton throws a couple picks.
For me, man, it's I'm shocking the world. I'm going Carolina. I think Carolina's going to go 2-2. It's at Carolina. This is going to be a revenge game. Dave Canales, I think it's time to push back and say, oh, you know what? Maybe it was a Bryce issue and it wasn't a Dave Canales issue. That team looked good on Sunday. Deontay Johnson didn't look like he lost a step. Chuba Hubbard was probably the play of the week at running back. Carolina looks good. The offensive line looks good. Shut down Max Crosby, not one sack last Sunday.
Yeah.
Going Carolina. Fog?
You took the words right out of my mouth. Say less. Carolina.
I'm two-man front. All right. I got the first one here. New Orleans Saints is 2-1. They travel to Atlanta. This is going to be a tough game. Atlanta is going to be 1-2. It's going to be at Atlanta. I think I'm with you, Fog, when it comes to the Saints. I need to see more. I know they beat Dallas, and I forgot who they played week 1. I don't remember. But week 3, I know they played the Eagles. A tougher team. They had a tougher time. I think Atlanta's going to give
week
them
1 was Panthers. Week 1 was
thank
Panthers.
You. Oh, well, thank you. So they haven't really truly beat a contender. So I'm going to push back. I'm going to go Atlanta here, guys. I'm not crazy about the pick, but Atlanta needs this win. I feel like after they've really had a tough road. I mean, look at their schedule. Their schedule's nasty. So I'm gonna go Atlanta here. Fog?
No, Atlanta. Look, I picked them to win the division, and I still think they will. I'm taking Atlanta on this one. Saints are not as good as advertised. Defense is good. This offense is not what we saw the first 2 weeks of the season. I'm sorry.
Austin.
I'm going Saints, dude. I think I think they have a bounce back game on offense. I think Kamara runs a lot. And I would say Shaheed, he's not getting 0 catches again. There's no way. I think they get him way more involved. I think they take a deep shot, and I think they get back to it.
All right.
Fantasy-wise, I agree with you. I think Shaheed gets in the end zone, maybe 1 or 2 catches, one of them for a touchdown.
I don't think we really need to dive into this. I think we're all going to pick the Texans, correct?
Yeah.
What do you mean? We're not taking Jacksonville? We're not taking Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson?
Time for Dougie P to get fired. He's got to get the boot.
I wanted Doug Peterson fired after we won the Super Bowl. Shit.
Yep.
Oh, my. We can
Press
spend
him
all
is
night
garbage.
talking about Doug Peterson. Oh, my God. All right, so we're all in Texans. We don't need to dive into that. Broncos travel to New York and play the Jets. Jets have looked great as of late, especially this past week against New England. Haven't really played a contender yet besides San Francisco and got mollywopped. Denver beats Tampa Bay. Kind of a shock. One of the few upsets last week. Fog, who are we going with here in this game?
I'm gonna take the Jets. I like Bo Nix. I don't like Sean Payton. I don't like the Broncos offense. I think the Jets are more stable, more consistent, especially on both sides of the ball. And let me tell you something. Brees Hall's a beast. Broncos ain't stopping that. This ain't about Aaron Rodgers. This Jets team is gonna go as far as Brees Hall is going to take them. Not Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers just needs to be a stable and sustainable, serviceable quarterback. I'm saying it now.
Austin.
I'm taking the Jets, man. I think Aaron Rodgers is settling in. I think Brees Hall is a monster. I think a lot of play action is going to happen. I think Garrett Wilson's going to get fed this game. It's going to be tough for him because he has Sertan on him. But it's going to be a good game. I think I got Jets. I don't see Jets defense falling apart against the offense of Denver. Just don't see that. So I got Jets.
Yeah, I wish the Eagles would take some play action.
Yeah, Bo Nix is going to look like a child after this game is done. Honestly, I think your Jets defense is going to rock its world. They're not going to do what Tampa Bay did. They're not going to do what Tampa Bay did and take them slightly. It's going to be a continued trend for New York moving forward and winning these games. That's going to be very important in the AFC East because you got another team over there in Buffalo that I think is shocking a lot of people as well compared to everybody and talking about them being off the bandwagon in Baltimore since the Diggs trade. But it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm with you, Fog. Rodgers is being a serviceable. There's not a better guy that you can ask to be a game manager, right? I mean, he's not going to make the bad throw. He's going to be protecting the ball at all costs. But man, did he not look so comfortable on Thursday night against New England? He looks like the Rodgers of old. And when you have a Hackett and OC who he knows that terminology very well, he knows the verbiage very well, and that offensive line that's actually been a lot better than compared to last year. They invested into it. And, and Mike Williams, 6 targets last week. Mm-hmm. I think he's getting his feet wet again, since the torn ACL. And Garrett Wilson's going to be Garrett Wilson. And the biggest surprise probably is Conklin. That's the best game he's had in his entire career. Compared to last season, he already passed things up almost. So it's I think it's a good game to be a Jets fan right now, dude.
Let's see how they look, how comfortable Rodgers looks, how comfortable this team looks when they don't play a shit team.
No, I agree with you, but it's good to get your feet back underneath you, right? Where after a torn Achilles, you want to have these type of games where you can build back. Oh no, confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
To play San Francisco week 1, that's a tall asking order, dude.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers, I heard Jets fans saying we're going to win as long as Aaron Rodgers looks like the MVP Aaron Rodgers. You don't have MVP Aaron Rodgers. That Aaron Rodgers is gone. You are in twilight, Aaron Rodgers. all you can hope for is Aaron Rodgers to look like Brock Purdy.
Brian? Hello.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, I was wait. So I'm going. Are the Broncos at the Jets or the Jets at the Broncos?
Broncos are at the Jets.
But yeah, the Jets are gonna win. That's an easy pick for me. I mean, I think it could be closer than we think, but I do think this is kind of a get back game for Nathaniel Hackett. He's gonna call a game of his life. That's what I do think. He's probably gonna call a game of his life for Aaron Rodgers so they can kind of give it to the Broncos a little bit if that's a storyline. But yeah, I mean, I think the Jets are playing okay. They like Falk said, they haven't played anybody at all of consequence at the Niners, and they lost to the Niners. I do think Breece Hall is going to be the key. I do think Breece Hall is the key to this team. It's not Aaron Rodgers. It's Breece Hall. As long as Breece Hall is healthy, as long as he stays upright, as long as he runs the ball like he's running the ball, he can create that play action for Aaron Rodgers that he loves so much. Without him, this wouldn't be. None of this could work. Right? None of this could work.
I was going to say O-line. The O-line's been playing a lot.
Really
good these last 2 weeks.
The backup running back's good too.
Braylon Allen.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers needs a run game. Right? At this age, he's not.
That system needs a run game.
Is that what?
That system needs a run game.
No,
that's all Hackett is known for.
Hackett's garbage.
It does, yeah. So I think the Jets win this.
That's Aaron Rodgers' offense.
We'll see.
Hey, so I know you want to talk about analytics. We talked a little bit earlier before we get into these next games. Real quick, what did you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm sur Fogg loved this guy. I'm sure this was Fogg's question. I'm sure he would, probably got a hard on this question because he's an analytics guy. The question was: is analytics ruining the NFL? I don't think it's ruining the NFL in terms of entertainment value, but I think it's ruining the purity of football. That's what it's ruining. It's not ruining it. The NFL loves analytics because it gives opportunities for these nerds and casual fans to understand the game from a numerical perspective, right? It gives them an opportunity to have like talking points of like, oh, this QBR right here, this is why he's playing well, and not necessarily looking at the nuance of the game of like actually playing football, right? I was having a conversation with somebody about offensive line, right? And PFF. And he said, well, this team sucks because their PFF offensive line is 27th. Well, I think it's Washington, right? I'm like, dude, like that yes, okay, you can analyze that and say their offensive line isn't good last year, so they're 27th. But what about the coaching aspect of the situation of the offensive line? Like Washington literally flipped their whole team, flipped the entire coaching staff. Now the O-line is better. And they barely touched the offensive line, right? But analytics doesn't take that into account. It doesn't take into the account of coaching and nuances of how an offensive line plays. It's not just one player, it's the entire group. But analytics won't tell you that. Like people just want to go to analytics because it's easy and it's talking point. So I don't think it's ruining the game and from the entertainment standpoint, but I do think it's ruining like the purity of the game for people who've played it, people who've watched it a long time, and people who've coached it, right? Like, it's just one of those things where like I like analytics, there's a place for it, but it 100% doesn't take into the account of the nuances of the game. It just doesn't.
It really doesn't. I also don't. There's a component for yes, it is, and there's a component of no, it's not. I think teams are losing games because of analytics. Mm-hmm. Well, we should go for. I mean, the Detroit Lions. You can make the case right now. They should be in the Super Bowl. Chargers should have made the playoffs and beat the Raiders if they didn't use advanced analytics a couple years ago in the week 18 game to decide to go in and play the Steelers. Yeah. I'm with you on that point. Anybody else agree or disagree?
Just for Brian.
Okay.
Because he missed what I said.
Yeah,
he did. Keep it simple.
Yeah. Well, you said
yesterday. I agree. And we talked about this.
Yep, on Sunday.
Analytics, they're not ruining the game. I think they're ruining the way these coaches coach the game because keep it simple is what is having what got the Steelers at 3-0. It's what's got the Vikings and the Bills. The teams that look the part are the teams that are just keeping it vanilla, keeping it simple, and just playing the game accordingly.
Which is nothing wrong. Like I think people think that's so wrong to keep things vanilla. Don't fix something that isn't broken. It's always been
you build off of that. That's where the creativity comes, building off of what you're doing, not trying to fucking reinvent the wheel. The wheel's already there. You don't need to remake it.
I agree with you. I had a coach
for years, 100 and some years.
Great story here, real quick. I had a coach in high school, Austin, my brother. Also had him as a coach as well. His name was George Cooper. His philosophy, and I played tight end for his offense, heavy run offense. Which most high schools are. His philosophy was, if we get on that play 4 yards, we are going to run the mother effing ball over and over 100%. And over again every time you get 4 yards.
Yeah.
We had a game. You guys don't know, but we had a game against West Hills. West Hills at that time, really good high school. And we ran the ball. I think we had 45 plays. We ran the ball 43 times. And we just kept on running the same thing on the opposite side. Tight end was switched over to the weak side. You just run the B and C and A gaps as much as you want. The game was so boring, but we loved it because that's all we practiced on all week, and it worked. And that was majority of our philosophy the entire season. We ended up being 8-2 that year. And it works. It's simple. Is it fun? No. But is it winning me football games? Do I get to go around to the varsity players with the Letterman's jacket and say, suck my, what? We won today. You guys didn't? Of course. It's awesome. But I'm with you guys. I'm 1,000% with you guys. Keep it simple.
The crazy thing is, last point I make, the crazy thing is that people love analytics for the reasons why you just explained. It's exciting, right? The big plays, the passes, fancy the numbers, football, right? People love it. My brother texted me and said, I hate watching the Steelers play because it's like watching rugby. They don't score. Okay, I said, I don't give a shit. They're winning. We're 3-0. I do not care. But that's the nature of the casual fan. That's what the NFL wants. They want to draw that person. They want to draw my brother in, right? But people don't realize that that the Kansas City Chiefs won last year based on exactly what you just said, Drew, running the football. Mahomes made the plays, but I'm not saying Isaiah Pacheco was the reason.
They kind of had to. They didn't really have good receivers, but
the point is that they had a run game though. And a great offensive line.
Run game with the top two defense.
Yeah, but the top two defense. So that's what wins game. And usually 9 times out of 10, the team that is doing that wins the Super Bowl, right? And people don't realize that. They just see the killer bees of the Steelers, where we didn't do shit with that. We won Super Bowls by running the football and playing good defense, and that's exactly what we're doing now.
Austin, anything you have before we get to the next game?
No, I got nothing on that. I think you guys hit that all on the head right there.
All right. The Minnesota Vikings are 3-0, and they travel to Green Bay and play the Packers 2-1. We don't know if Jordan Love is playing or not. I think that's going to matter for all of us if we want to pick who's going to win this game. So, Austin, you get to go first.
I'm going Packers. I think Packers win. I think Jordan Love actually plays. I think he plays, and I think they ease him in. I think Josh Jacobs has a good game. Only thing with that, man, Brian Flores is just fucking killing it on defense. His disguise and everything is disgusting, man. There's a reason why that's
Wait a minute. Does he have to apologize again or no? That man doesn't need to apologize at the NFL, and for him making him have to apologize because of what he said to Tua. That's some bullshit. And F Tua for having to go on the interview.
Wait.
Saying he was hurt. Saying he was hurt because he said he sucked. Get out of here, dude.
I don't think he should have did all that, though.
What did I miss? Apologize for what?
For what?
He was telling Tua he sucked every day coming into the locker room or going into the locker room.
You don't remember? You don't remember what Brian had? Brian Flores. You don't remember when Brian had to do the press conference to apologize?
But what does that have to do with him be doing well now as a DC? We all knew what Brian Flores
Because he was getting blackballed. He was getting blackballed for the entire NFL and freaking the owner of the Miami Dolphins.
Well, he's getting blackballed because he's suing the NFL.
Well, yeah, you should, because they blackballed him out of his job. He got fired. He got fired because of the owner.
You already lost that case, though, right? They threw it out already.
We all listen. Here's my thing with it. We all overwhelmingly at that time, not now, obviously, at that time, would rather have Deshaun Watson than Tua. Right? No?
Yeah.
Oh, at that time?
No.
Oh, yeah.
My issue, I think I told Fogg this. My issue with Brian Flores was not necessarily who he wanted, is that he didn't play his cards right. He was terrible at this. He didn't play the game right in terms of what he needed to do for Tua, right? That's what, honestly, you know what's interesting? And Fogg, we talked about this with Brian, Danny Canales and Bryce Young. Danny Canales played the game correctly. He did everything he could do to help Bryce Young, seemingly, right? From what we see. Then he said, you know what? I can't play this kid. He's not good. He doesn't fit my system. I bench him. Sounds like David Tepper's cool with that.
I think
it seemed like Brian Flores was going up against whoever the owner is for the Dolphins, was going up against, against him. Who was it?
Yeah, Stephen Ross.
Stephen Ross. He was going against that. He was going against the grain because Stephen Ross loves Tua. Brian Flores didn't, and he was pretty much going against what Stephen Ross wanted. He didn't even pretend to try to like Tua or pretend to coach him. He just said, I don't like this kid. I don't want him. I'm going to bench him after one pick. I'm going to tell him he sucks. That's not how you play the game, Brian Flores.
No, you can't tell someone you suck every day, dude. That's not going to build your confidence up at all, bro.
It's not. It's not. It's not. But I'm not even.
But at the same time, that's who they drafted. Wasn't Flores there when he drafted Tua?
But he didn't want. He made it clear he didn't want Tua, which is
he
fine.
didn't want Tua, bro.
Yeah.
That's fine, and that's fine. But you don't play the game that way. Like, you have to coach him. You're the head coach of the football team.
Yeah.
Right. You have to do it. Like, if you don't, you'll be out of a job. It's simple as that. Like, he didn't. He handled that poorly. I'm sure he regrets it now. I'm sure he should have just worked with Tua. And honestly, if he would have just worked with Tua, and Tua could have easily played himself out the league.
I also feel like Flores took that Bill Belichick way with him to Miami. Well as my way or the highway type thing.
Yeah.
And I think he realized he fucked that up. And now that he's in Minnesota, and he's like, all right, man, I can't do that way no more. It doesn't work with this next generation of guys. You know what I mean? It's a different generation. So
like, you can't bench the rookie quarterback after throwing one pick. That's so bad. Like, that is so bad. Like, even if you hate the kid, you gotta fake it until you make it, and then let Tua just
100%
play himself out. That's it. He said, "What?"
I'm taking the Packers. I'm going Malik Willis. Even if Malik Willis plays Tennessee, you fucked up. I said it. I said Will Levis was garbage. Everybody was like, no, you got to watch Will Levis. I'm watching Will Levis, and he's the garbage that I said he was. So, no, I don't care if Malik Willis or Jordan Love are playing. Vikings are going to be due for a loss. It's going to be one of the few ones they have. But they're due for a setback, a minor one.
Better organization, better run team, better everything in Green Bay compared to Tennessee. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Yeah. With that being said, I'm with you, Austin, and I'm with you, Fogg. I'm going Packers as well. To go 3-1. Brian?
I'm actually going to go Vikings in this one, man. I think the Vikings. I think defense travels, right? You know, we always say that, and they're running the ball pretty well. And look, I think Sam Darnold's the real deal. And look, I love Malik Willis has won the last 2 games. Good for him. I think his price went up, right? So good for him for kind of helping his image a little bit. But I think the Vikings are real. I think that defense travels, and I think Brian Flores is going to show a lot of things that Malik Willis may not be ready for at this stage in his career, at least. So I think the Vikings go 4-0, man.
I'm sorry. I messed up. I'm Brian. I messed up. I'm going Vikings 4-0. I'll change my pick. I
love Malik, but I just as long as if Jordan Love is playing, I would have went Packers, but I'm going to go Vikings because Jordan Love's not playing.
I was watching some of the highlights last week with the Vikings defense. There's like a play that stood out for me was like Flores. It looked like cover zero, and he just dropped everything. Like Harrison Smith went to go play corner instead of safety, dropped it back in zone. I'm like, what the fuck? I never seen a play like that. The disguise was like legit. You could tell. I forgot who they played last week, but the quarterback was all fucked up.
The Vikings played the Texans.
Texas, CJ Stroud.
They got
CJ Stroud was like, bro. You could tell he's like, whoa, what's going on? Like
they dropped it back to like a cover 4 zone.
Yes,
it was like, holy shit.
And Harrison Smith came in and played as a corner instead of safety, which was insane.
Because they had the personnel for a cover zero.
He's a great.
It was perfect.
No one's questioning Brian Flores' defensive prowess now. Head coach wise, he's not that good. But.
Yeah, I agree.
Brian's team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, are heading to Indy and playing the Colts, who are now 1-2. Anthony Richardson, which is something Fogg said a couple years ago, is a project that is going to be a long time that needs to be developed. And right now, he's not looking that great, gentlemen. So with that being said, Steelers 3-0. They beat my boys last week. Congrats, Brian, on that win. Who you got, Brian, for this one?
I think we're headed in the right direction, man. Speaking of Brian Flores, I wish he would stay in our stat. I love Terrell Austin. I do. I love our DC, but damn, I wish we could have cut Brian Flores. But Terrell Austin has us playing as the best defense in football right now.
He's in his bag, dude.
He's in his bag. He is. So I'm not mad at him at all. We're playing defense and running the football. And the Colts have a pretty shaky run defense. So I don't expect us to win big because, again, we don't score a lot of points, but I will say that we're going to control this game. I'll give a score. I'll say I can see us winning 21-7.
I'm telling you right now, this is for prop bets or prize picks and all that. I'm taking both quarterbacks rushing, and I'm taking the over. Anthony Richards is going to be running for his life on Sunday. I'm taking Steelers. Steelers are going to be 4-0. And this team is going to be absolutely nasty. A little tidbit I want to throw out there just in case. Just reading the reports, I like how Mike Tomlin's dealing with the Russell Wilson thing. He's listen, I'm not going to say who needs to be quarterback one. It's not important. I love that. But when it's all said and done, and when Big Dog is healed from his calf, I would not be shocked. And I'll just real quick, yes or no from the panel. Miami Dolphins might give him a call.
Oh, we're not getting rid of Russ.
You're not gonna get rid of Russ?
No way.
We keep him Russ in Pittsburgh?
Got to. Yeah.
Okay. They have a better chance of getting Zach Wilson.
Stop. Zach Wilson. Go ahead, Fogg.
I'm taking the Steelers. I think again, said it. AR is going to be a project. He's got all the talent, but he's going to be a project. And right now, this Colts team does not look good, and AR is he's showing the inconsistency that we saw when in Florida. He had games where he was great, but those were few games. He had the majority of his games. He was very inconsistent, very inaccurate, and he's the type of guy that can throw the football. You need him to throw the football 60 yards, he can throw it 60 yards. You need him to throw the football 10 yards, he throws it 60 yards. This is who he is. He's got to get.
Oh man!
So what you're saying? He's the black version of Jay Cutler, but he can run.
He's just somebody that just needed.
He's Michael Vick.
I don't know about
He's
that.
Michael Vick, just less talented. At the
arm strength wise. Yeah. Arm strength wise, he's big. Yeah,
he's Vic. Awesome. Vic would drill a hole and use 50 yards downfield or 5 yards downfield. Why the fuck are you throwing it that hard to me? Algae Crumpler. Why? I feel violated. This is personal. What did I do to you? This 5-yard out route had a put burn marks on my fingers. What's your problem?
That dude can throw the ball, man. Austin.
Man, the way this NFL season's going, I got an upset, dude. I think the Colts beat the Steelers. I just think it happens.
Brian's gonna punch you. Brian's gonna punch you.
No, I'm not. No,
No disrespect, but just the way the
wouldn't
season's
shock
going,
me.
bro. There's been a lot of upsets lately,
It
and
has
you know,
been.
it just
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
it's that Indy. I'm not that makes a huge difference or not, but I just feel like it's gonna be an upset. I feel like something clicked for AR-15 for this game, and I just think they I don't know. I just think they pass a lot and think they have a good game and they win. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. I'm thinking like 16-10 type game. But
Hey, I'll be honest with you, Austin. I'll be real. If Kenny Pickett was still playing, I would agree with you 100%. Like,
yeah, no, for sure.
100%, because Kenny Pickett didn't know how to win games. 100%.
Hey, legend says his hands are still big. Anyways,
Fucking guy.
the LA Rams, after a shocking upset last week, go and travel to Chicago and play Caleb Williams and his purse. We got both teams are 1-2. I am going. Honestly, I don't even know. We could talk about the Bears till the freaking moons come home. I'm done with the Bears. I'm going Rams with the win. I just don't trust the Bears offensive line. Caleb Williams looks like a whore going to church, just scared for his life. It's just not happening. Rams are going to go 2-2, boys. Fuck.
What?
Fuck.
I thought I was the problem.
I'm excited for the
this
Padre
show.
game tonight.
Holy shit.
For what game?
The Padre game.
Oh, yeah. 40 and
Wow, I'm
16
excited.
last 66. Crazy.
I'm taking the Rams just because of Sean McVay. The guy knows how to he knows how to scheme up. And the Bears, listen, said it at the beginning of the show. Eberflus is the problem. Caleb Williams he's not being nurtured in the same way Jaden Daniels is. And I said it, Jaden Daniels was a better quarterback prospect than Caleb Williams, even though Caleb Williams has the talent. The Rams are going to get him. They're going to get the Bears. I'm calling it now. Eberflus, if the Bears are 1-6,
4.
he's a 1-4. If
No,
the Bears
seriously.
he's called, but B's calling it earlier. Eberflus is what?
Oh, he's going to get fired?
He's out.
Eberflus is one of 3 coaches that potentially, if they have one win going into week 7 or week 8, are going to get fired.
Who were the other 2?
I've got Brian Dable.
No way.
He was part of the Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley fiasco.
I don't believe that. I don't
fired.
believe that.
I think he's going to get fired, but I don't think
If they lose against the Cowboys, it might.
Wow.
Who's the other one?
In all honesty, I think if the Cowboys keep trending the way they're trending, Mike McCarthy might be gone before the season's over.
You agree with what I said about Mike McCarthy?
Oh, yeah.
McCarthy is not getting fired. Not mid-season.
If
Not
they
they've
don't
never
look
done it
like they're
before.
going to make the
They've
playoffs,
never done that before.
They've never done that before.
I know they haven't done that before. But
Jerry
again,
can start now.
This isn't. Why not? He's going to die in another 2 years anyway. What does he give a shit?
No. I will say one guy I do think is going to get fired if they don't turn it around, because he sounds this. I think Doug Peterson will be gone in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's another one.
He's on. And I think he knows that. He wouldn't have said what he said today.
No.
No.
He's safe?
He's safe.
Maybe Zach Taylor.
I don't think Zach Taylor's going to get canned, but I think at the end of the season, I think if Cincinnati's season goes to shit, they'll let him play it out. I think Cincinnati will give him the Marvin Lewis courtesy, and he'll make it to the end of the season, and then turn around and say, "Get the fuck out of here."
Say if they're 0-7, you think they're gonna stick around?
I don't think he makes it there.
No way.
I don't know.
They're at the
I think he's gone to 0-5.
Like, I feel like the more we win, then I think Baltimore's gonna figure it out. I don't know what the Browns are gonna do, but I think Zach
Browns
Taylor
is a whole different story.
Yeah.
Austin, who'd you pick?
I got the Rams, man. Shane Waldron's the OC with the Bears. He's got to go. He's trash.
Yeah.
All right, Eagle fans, you guys are 2-1. You guys travel to Tampa Bay, rematch in the wild card of last year. Is it payback, or are you guys going to take an L? Who are you guys taking?
You go.
Go ahead.
You go, Funk.
All right. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not payback. I'm still not convinced on what Philly's doing. It's in Tampa, and I think Tampa slept big time this
You're taking Tampa?
this week. I'm taking Tampa. I think they fell asleep at the wheel, and I think they'll be fine coming into this game.
Bro,
it's going to be a shit fest. It's going to be it's going to be a game that's going to be very hard to watch, especially for Eagles fans. And we're going to sit there and go, Jesus Christ, we have the best talent-wise. This is a Super Bowl winning team. Super Bowl winning team, hands down.
I want you two to understand something. If Austin picks Tampa Bay, whatever, that's fine. But I'll tell you right now, if the Washington Commanders win this division, we will not hear the end of this from the red Jolly Green Giant that's on the show every Tuesday. Alex will toot his horn to the end of days. I swear to God, if you guys let this happen, I'm kicking all your asses.
What did I say?
Where the hell you live?
I said don't sleep on Washington this year. I said,
but if they win the division, they should not be winning the division
in the playoffs.
Stop it. Stop it.
I will say that
I did watch the segment again. I have the playoffs.
Of hot
no, I said no. That's fine. Them winning the division. That's a whole different piece of bread.
They're not going to win the division.
They're not going to win the division.
People are going way too crazy about yesterday's game. They're not going to win the division. They're not.
Yeah.
I'll say it before though.
And Bengals defense is trash, dude.
If they win the division and the Eagles miss the playoffs, Sirianni's gone. But he's also
Sirianni. Listen, Sirianni's fired. Sirianni's fired.
Sirianni's also a guy that if things fall through the cracks or whatever you want to call it. I can see him be gone mid-season.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
Oh yeah, if it looks,
and then they'll give it to Kellen Moore and see how he does.
100%.
If Philly doesn't, if Philly is in a position come week 11 or 12, and they're not in a position to make the playoffs, he's canned.
Yeah,
Sirianni's gone. I think Sirianni's gone if the Eagles if the Eagles make the playoffs and don't win the division and they're one and done. Sirianni's gone.
I agree, but I think the Bucs win this game. Unfortunately, I go with Bucs because there's multiple reasons. AJ Brown probably gonna be out. Devontae Smith probably gonna be out.
Yeah.
Lane Johnson probably gonna be out. Mekhi Becton probably gonna be out. That's four big pieces right there. Slay's gonna play. He'll play.
Slay's
but losing Devontae and not having AJ Brown hurts, and Lane Johnson. If you look at the stats of Lane Johnson out of games, I think we're like 8 and 22 or something like that, or 8 and 15, something like that, crazy. So I mean, not having Lane's it's gonna hurt, and not having AJ and Devontae, that's gonna hurt, man. I mean, I just think Jalen struggles in Tampa Bay against Todd Bowles. Struggles. Because they blitz him the most.
Listen, dude, you made a big root and rave. You guys loved how Howie made the trade for Jahan Dotson.
Not for number one. Not being number one.
Done shit.
Not being number one.
Since they've been there.
He came clutch in that last play.
He did come clutch in the last play. That is true.
With that pick play.
I'm going Tampa Bay. Patriots are 1-2. They travel to 49ers. I think. Are we all going to agree that it's going to be
San Fran?
Oh, San Fran. Oh. Commanders are 2-1. They travel to Arizona. Arizona is 1-2. Shockingly, Arizona's had a tough schedule these last 3 weeks, but here they are at 1-2. Commanders are 2-1. I'm going to go Arizona. I think Washington's been is going to live off this high all week, fog. So I think it's going to be one of those games where Arizona's going to strike while the iron is hot and while they're distracted. I'm going to go Arizona here in Arizona.
I just don't think Arizona has the defense to stop Washington's offense. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think this will be an entertaining game. But I think Washington's going to be able to pull this one out and beat them. I could see this game being like a 37-34 type score game.
Austin, real quick, who you got, Commanders or Cardinals?
I got Commanders. Because fuck
Okay.
John Gannon.
We don't really need to get into this game. The Chargers are going to be without 6 or 7 starters possibly.
Blowout.
So we're going to go cheese. It's going to be a blowout, I think, too, as well.
And that Derwin
Yeah,
James,
the refs won't have to help them.
trash. That
No,
Derwin
the
James
refs-
suspension is crap.
I don't really want to talk much about this game. Browns against the Raiders. It's in Vegas. Both
This is going
quarterbacks
to be the
suck.
worst game of the weekend.
Trash everywhere.
I'm
Antonio
taking the
Pierce-
Browns in upset.
Antonio Pierce is probably making a bet on this game because he had to file bankruptcy in the offseason. So, who do you got? Browns?
Can you see him getting fired? Antonio Pierce?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
can't.
I
I
think
think you need.
if you
I think
wanted,
they wait to get a rookie quarterback and
if
see how he does.
you want, listen, if you wanted Jaden Daniels that bad, according to Devontae Adams' podcast, or whatever
Yeah,
he
I
was
heard
on,
they're hoping he was
if you
slipped.
wanted him that bad, you really thought he was going to drop to you at 12? Seriously,
But that's
You
but
really
that's not
think
an
that was gonna
Antonio
drop?
Pierce problem.
Yeah, you can't do nothing about that.
That's not
No,
a Pierce problem.
No, I'm not saying it's a Pierce problem. I'm saying it's an organization problem.
Yes.
It's an organization issue. Like if you want a quarterback, you gotta risk to earn the reward. You have to go.
You got to have the
scared
owner on
money-
your side though too.
Scared money don't make money, man. You gotta make a move. Just like with the Giants, you have to put up players in order to get a move, to go up there and get a Drake May or get a Jaden Daniels, who we all saw in Hard Knocks offseason. They were all about Jaden Daniels. You don't want to make that move and give the Washington Commanders the price of what it's going to cost.
Yeah.
You're going to be stuck in purgatory with Daniel Jones. That's your fault.
But you also can't blame you. Like, what if the Washington didn't want to take anybody?
I'm taking the Raiders only because both their tackles are out for the Browns. Max Crosby is going to have a day. Bills are 3-0. This is going to be a good game on Sunday night. Bills against the Ravens on Sunday night at Baltimore. Ravens are 1-2. Almost a scary situation against Dallas last week. They ended up pulling it out. Bills are 3-0. They've been dominating on almost every facet of the game for every week. Fogg, who you got?
I'm going to take the Ravens in an upset.
Woo!
I think the Bills are due for I think the Bills come down to earth for a bit, but I will say this. I must apologize to Bills fans about Josh Allen, and I must apologize to Bills fans about saying that window is probably closed because right now, outside of Minnesota Vikings, and I wouldn't trust the Vikings against the Bills because of the quarterback, the Bills are the best team in the NFL right now. Agreed. And so taking a loss to the Ravens isn't a bad thing because if this was the playoffs, I'm taking the Bills. But it's a regular season.
Awesome.
I'm going Bills. I think they are the best team in the NFL right now, as of right now. The Ravens' offensive line doesn't do it for me at all. Lamar has to run all day long. I think the Bills' defense get after him. I'm going Bills.
I think the Ravens' defense is the bigger problem.
Yeah, the defense is bad too.
I'm going Buffalo Bills easily here. I'm not even thinking twice about it. I think this game is going to shut most of the critics that are still left on Josh Allen's ass. And this is also going to be a game for Josh Allen to catapult him to number one in the MVP All-Pro talks after a month, because it would be a month after that game is played. He's going to be the guy that everyone didn't think he was going to be this year. And he's been absolutely beautiful. Austin hit the nail on the head. Joe Brady has been a godsend for this team since he came into it last week and last year and changed up midway through and pretty much took Diggs out of the picture and just, hey, you're just going to be a decoy. It's whatever's working is working right now for Buffalo, even though they have which Fogg is right. They have a lot of injuries on the defensive side.
They do.
I think their defense right now is better than Dallas's, and they have a presence. They have a presence at the anchor, and Von Miller looks decent. He looks a lot better than he did last year. So go Buffalo, boys. Don't need to talk about. I'm going Tennessee. Fogg.
Jesus.
Tennessee.
Austin.
Who's the fucking quarterback for Miami? I'm going Tennessee.
That's what I'm going. Seahawks and Lions. Good game Monday night.
Oh, that's a great game.
Oof.
Lions.
That's a great game.
In the turf. We don't know if Kim Walker's playing yet. They said they're leaning towards yes, but regardless of the fact, Charbonnet's been an absolute great back filling in for him. Gino's been playing good football as of late. Lions still leading the league in passing, which is kind of confusing to me compared to last year. More of a balance, but it is what it is. This is Lions football. Lions do lose Frank Ragnow. He is possibly going to be gone for the season with a torn pec, and then they also
that's a couple weeks.
Yep, they also lost their defensive end for the year. I don't know his name. I can't think of his name right now.
Like I said, man, McDonald being that coach over there, he got some boys playing on defense in Seattle. I'm going Seattle.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm going Seattle. I think they control the line of scrimmage on defense. Offensive wise, I don't know how they're going to do offensive wise. I think they'll protect the ball, run the ball, little play actions like they normally do. I just think Seahawks defense is going to shut down Detroit.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going Seattle, Fogg.
I'm going Seattle. I said this before. The Lions defense. The Lions defense is the biggest problem, and Seattle's offense is going to have at it with them. So it's going to be on the Lions and
just worried
how
about
they can
Hutchinson.
counter at the end of the day.
I'm just worried about Hutchinson with the Seattle O-line. I'm just worried that he could be a playmaker and wreck the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. The show went on a lot longer, and I love it. Good content tonight, boys. Good talk. Final words, Austin.
Hey, man, I had a really good time in New Orleans. You guys definitely need to go out there. The food's excellent. Obviously, we came with the win. Glad everybody's doing good, man. Stay blessed. Stay healthy, and go Birds.
Fogg.
Hey, listen, go Birds. I had a wonderful weekend. I was with my son, went to my niece's birthday party, watched a football game. Well, watched multiple football games.
There we go.
And listen, enjoy it. It's just sports. My dynasty league, I'm 3-0, and it's looking lovely. Although I don't think I'm going to win anything.
Love it, dude. Yeah, man. As we end the month of September, I want to throw it out there that this was Suicide Prevention Month. Just shout out to everybody. Give them a call. Give them a text. Check in on who you haven't talked to in a long time. And just to say, hey, I'm thinking of you. Love you. And it doesn't hurt to call somebody real quick. You don't know what anybody's going through. Other than that, NFL needs to get their crap together because this crap has been absolutely terrible to watch. Hey, Fogg, real quick, before we leave, who do you have as MVP right now?